Hey YouTube, this is Yahweh Weeps. I am going to be going into the book or letter um, known as Revelation, but my title for it is, well, first I'm going to tell you the book that I'm taking it from. My understanding of the title of the book is Kitbe HaKodesh, which means the separate writings, commonly known as the Holy Bible. Now, other names that I have for it is the Sepharim HaSepharim, which would mean the books of books, meaning the most excellent books. Now, since it's a collection of books, it's a little library within one volume. It's actually books, so I call it the most excellent books because it's the message from the Creator. Then I also call it, I don't know if this is grammatically accurate Hebrew, but Sefer HaDabar Yahweh, which would mean, as far as I understand, the book of the message of Yahweh. Okay, that's my understanding for the name of what people commonly call the Holy Bible. Okay, now the title of the book or letter that I am going to be reading from is the Shliach Yochanan's fourth letter to the Arat haMashiach, which his galas, which means in English, the emissary Yahweh is compassionate. That's what Yochanan or John, that's what his name means. Yahweh is compassionate. The emissary Yahweh is compassionate's fourth letter to the assembly of the Anointed One, revealing. His galas means revealing. Revelation is just, I think, another way of saying revealing. Revealing given by Elohim. Elohim being Yahweh, what people commonly know as God. Anyways, okay, chapter 1. The revealing of Yehoshua haMashiach. I'm just going to read it at first, okay? And then I'll go back and go through like my notes and explanatory stuff. But right now I'm just going to read it. The revealing of Yehoshua haMashiach, which Yahweh gave him to show his voluntary slaves what must happen, and when it does, it will happen rapidly. And he made it known by sending his messenger to his voluntary slave Yochanan, who bore witness and testified to everything that he saw concerning the plan of Yahweh, and the witness of Yehoshua haMashiach. Given a precious gift is the one who reads aloud the words of this prophecy, and those who hear and carefully attend to what is written in it, because the season of time is at hand. Yochanan, to the 7 assemblies that are in Asia, refuge and rescue and wholeness to you from he who is, and who was, and who is still to come, Yahweh, and from the 7 Ruchot that are before his throne, and also from Yehoshua haMashiach, the trustworthy faithful one, the witness, the firstborn from the dead, and the ruler over the kings of the earth. To him who loves us and has set us free from our error and wrongdoing at the cost of his own blood, and has appointed us as a kingdom and Kohanim to his Elohim and Father. To him be high regard and power far beyond the distant horizon. Amen. Look, he is returning with the clouds, and every eye will see him, even those who pierced him. And all the peoples on the earth will mourn because of him. This will certainly come to pass. Amen. I am the Aleph and the Tau, the beginning and the end, says Adonai Yahweh of Elohim, he who is and who was and who is to come, Yahweh, the Elohim over all. I, Yochanan, both your brother and one who shares with you an intense, crushing pressure, and in the ruling and endurance that are in Yehoshua haMashiach, came to be on the island that is called Patmos, according to the plan of Yahweh, and for the witness of Yehoshua haMashiach. I came to be in the Ruach on the day of Yahweh, when I heard a loud voice behind me, like a shofar, saying, Write on a scroll what you see, and send it to the 7 assemblies of Asia, to Ephesus, and to Smyrna, and to Pergamos, and to Thyatira, and to Sardis, and to Philadelphia, and to Laodicea. I turned to see whose voice was speaking with me, and when I did so, I saw 7 golden lampstands, and among the 7 lampstands was one like a son of Adam, dressed in a robe down to his feet, and a wide golden belt strapped across his chest. His head and hair were as white as wool, even as white as pure sunlit snow, and his eyes were like a blazing fire. His feet were like polished bronze that's been heated in a furnace till it glows, and his voice was like the roar of a massive amount of water thundering down. In his right hand he held 7 stars, and out of his mouth went a sharp double-edged sword, and his face shone like the sun shining in full strength. When I saw him, I fell down at his feet as though I were dead, but he placed his right hand on me, saying, "Don't be afraid. I am the first and the last and the living one. I was dead, but look, now I'm alive, forever and ever. Amen. And I have the keys of death and of the place of the dead. So write the things that you've seen, what is now, and what will take place after these things. The mystery of the 7 stars which you saw in my right hand, and the 7 golden lampstands, is this. The 7 stars are messengers of the 7 assemblies, and the 7 lampstands which you saw are 7 assemblies." That was chapter 1. I'm going to go on just a little bit into chapter 2. I've only done a little bit in chapter 2, but I'll read it anyways. Just a little bit I've got. "To the messenger of the assembly of Ephesus write this. The one who has a firm grasp on the 7 stars in his right hand, who walks among the 7 golden lampstands, says this: I know your works and accomplishments, and your wearying, troubling labor, and I know your unwavering endurance, and that you can't tolerate the inwardly rotten. And you have put to the test those who say they are emissaries, but are not, and you have discovered that they are false. And I know that you have been bearing up under a heavy load, and have endured very much for my name's sake, and have not grown weary. But I have this against you. You have departed from your first love. So remember from what high state you've fallen, and come back. Do the works and accomplishments you did before. If you don't, I will come to you and remove your lampstand from its place. That is, if you don't come back. But you do have this in your favor. You hate what the Nicolaitans practice, which I hate too. He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the assemblies." And that's as far as I've gotten on chapter 2. So, going back through, it says the revealing of Yehoshua haMashiach. Now that "of" could be from or about. It could be of, from, or about, and I'm not exactly sure which. So it's either of, like revealing Yehoshua haMashiach, or it's from Yehoshua haMashiach, revealing that Yehoshua is giving, or it's about Yehoshua haMashiach, and I'm not sure which one. It says, which Yahweh gave him, Yahweh gave Yehoshua to show his, Yahweh's, voluntary slaves, now possibly Yeshua's voluntary slaves, but I'm guessing probably Yahweh's, what must happen, and when it does, it will happen rapidly. Okay, just going through, he said, when it says, he gave it to his voluntary slave Yochanan, who bore witness and testified to everything that he saw, Yochanan saw, concerning the plan, and that plan is logos, and it means like utterance. It's like thought, word, utterance, like the basically like when you want to say something, you have thought in your mind, and then you speak it, you utter it. So first there's a thought in your mind, and then it comes forth from your mouth, and that's basically the whole idea of logos. It's an utterance. It's the thought you have, the thought or plan you have in your mind, and then you utter it forth. So that's the word that I translated into plan is logos. Let's see. Going through, there's a lot of things that I have notes on, but I'm not doing that part quite yet. I'm just I'm reading this, so I'm going through stuff that I have written before I get to my notes section. Let's see, Asia. Asia means to go out, or to ascend, or east. Let's see. The ruchot, that's spirits or winds or breath, and it's feminine. It's a feminine word. Let's see. Now, I think it's probably masculine in the Greek, but I'm guessing that since all of the Talmudim, the disciples, students, that they were all Hebrew, that this was probably written first in Hebrew. So that's kind of where I'm coming from with this. If you disagree, that's fine. But just telling you where I'm coming from. When it says that he has set us free from our error and wrongdoing, that's taken from a Hebrew word that means missing the mark. So it's like if you're shooting a bow, an arrow, you're shooting at a target, a mark, and you miss. And that's what it's referring to. You're off target. You're not in line with what you're supposed to be doing. So, the Kohanim, when it says has appointed us as a kingdom and Kohanim, that Kohanim is commonly translated as priests, but what it means is the community structure supports, and I'll get back to that later. Let's see. When it says he who is and who was and who is to come, that terminology right there would make sense to be referring to Yahweh, because that's what Yahweh means. It means he who is and who was and who is to come, and it has to do, the name itself relates to being self-existent, immutable, so in that way he doesn't change, but he's self-existent and independent of anybody or anything else. Nobody else can say that. We're all dependent, like, we breathe air, so we're dependent on the air. We're dependent on each other. I'm sure, I'm guessing that a lot of people that watch this probably don't make their own toilet paper. So you're dependent on other people who make your toilet paper. There's all kinds of things that we're interdependent on. Yahweh is completely independent, not dependent on anyone or anything else. Going on. Elohim. I've said this in previous videos, but Elohim is composed, that it's Elohim is the plural of El, and El is composed of an Aleph and Lamed, Hebrew letters, and the Aleph is an ox head, and is associated with, the words that can be derived from that are that he's the prime one, that he's really strong and powerful, and that oxes are usually gentle. Unless you're antagonizing them or something stupid like that. But they're gentle. And then the Lamed is a shepherd's staff, and shepherd's staff that connotes movement or getting things going, and then also authority. Because the shepherd has authority over his sheep, and then he's also the protector. So Elohim or El would mean the prime mover, and Elohim, since Elohim is plural, it's a plural of quality, meaning that it's like a redwood tree is a plural of a plural in Hebrew. It's a plural trees because it's plural of quality. It's a massive, awesome tree. So Elohim is plural, meaning that he's awesome. He's like the best. But his El would be prime mover or strongest authority or gentle protector. Going on, as I said, Yochanan, it means Yahweh is compassionate. Patmos, when it says that he's on the island that is called Patmos, from my understanding, Patmos would mean my killing or Isle of Palms. Sorry, going on. I came to be in the Ruach on the day of Yahweh. That Ruach would mean spirit, wind, or breath. That's the idea behind Ruach. But it has to do with wind or breath, and can also be referring to character or power. So it's the character or power of Yahweh. It's his breath. It's the life that comes out from him. Going on. I said Asia means to go out, to ascend, or east. Ephesos. Ephesos means permitted. When you see Ephesians, it's from Ephesos, and it means permitted. Smyrna means myrrh, like M-Y-R-R-H, myrrh, I think it's a spice, I'm not positive. Pergamos means height or elevation. Thyatira means, this is nice, odor of affliction. Odor of affliction. Sardis means red ones. Philadelphia means brotherly or sisterly or familial love. And Laodicea means justice of the people. Okay, going on. Oh, I'm going to have so many notes. Well, when he says Amen, that Amen is affirming what he's saying. It's basically saying this is absolutely, completely true. I totally agree with this, and it's absolutely true. I'm putting my stamp of approval on this. Solid and fact. That's basically what he's saying. Okay, now my notes. The revelation, the revealing, uncovering, or unveiling goes from Yahweh to Yehoshua, from Yehoshua to Yochanan, and from Yochanan to the messengers of the assemblies, and the messengers bring it to the assemblies. So Yahweh gives it to Yehoshua, Yehoshua gives it to Yochanan, Yochanan gives the message to the messengers, and the messengers take it to the assemblies. So that's kind of how the message gets, can't think of the word, conveyed. Conveyed? Yeah, I think that's the word I want. Okay. A note I have here is a revealing of Yehoshua depicts the Messiah as the sovereign judge and witness. And actually, Yahweh would be the sovereign judge. Yehoshua would be the one right under him. When it says voluntary slave, that's from the Greek word doulos, and it often indicates one who sells himself into slavery to another. Undoubtedly, the background for the concept of being Yahweh's slave or servant is to be found in the Tanakh writings, commonly known as the Old Testament. For a Jew, this concept did not connote drudgery as a rule, but especially in this case, honor and privilege. So being a voluntary slave of Yahweh was an honor and a privilege. It was used of national Yisrael at times, see Yeshayahu or Isaiah 43 verse 10, but was especially associated with famous Tanakh personalities, including such great men as Moshe, or commonly known as Moses, Yehoshua or Joshua 14 verse 7, Dawid, Psalm or Tehillah 89 verse 3, and 2 Shemuel or Shemuel Beit 7 verse 8 and verses 5 and 8, and Eliyahu, commonly known as Elijah, 2 Kings 10:10. All these men were servants or voluntary slaves of Yahweh. So, so when you see it saying servant, it really means like a voluntary slave, but it's to be a voluntary slave of Yahweh was considered an honor and a privilege, because they're being a slave to goodness itself, to love itself, which is just awesome. Anyways, the note I have on when I said it will happen, and when it happens, it will happen rapidly. The meaning of that Greek word, from what I understand, means when it starts to happen, it will occur rapidly. So whenever it starts getting going, it's going to go boom, 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 really quick. Now, going on. I'll read my note for logos really quick. Greek translation logos, meaning motive, reasoning, intent, thought, word, expression, plan. Probably from Hebrew dabar, this word connotes a unit that was made to come about. It can be a single word, but it can also be a whole sentence or statement like the 10 words, meaning the 10 commandments. Dabar can be an act, such as the acts of King Dawid. 1 Chronicles 29:29, the things that Dawid made to come about, or David. And it can be a whole literary corpus. A book as a physical object or a general account is called Dabar Seper, such as the book of Shemuel the seer, or Samuel, who recorded the acts of Dawid, or Dibrei HaYamim, which is Chronicles, but it's translated events of the days. That's what Dibrei HaYamim means. And that events is I think the plural word of dabar, the Hebrew word meaning word. So as you can see, it can connote a single word or a sentence or like a paragraph or a book or events. I mean, it's kind of that whole general idea. Going on, the happy condition, when it says gifted, commonly translations have it as blessed, but it means the happy condition of those who revere Yahweh, so they're respectful, they revere him, and do his will, following his instructions, who put their trust in him and so are benefited by him, indicates being given a precious gift. The Hebrew concept, when you see blessed, the Hebrew concept of that is being knelt down to and given a precious gift. When it said, here, let me go back and read. Give me just a moment. S'il vous plaît. Oh, given a precious gift is the one who reads aloud the words of this prophecy. When it says reads aloud, where I'm getting that is, in the original historical setting, reading would usually refer to reading out loud in public rather than silently to oneself. So, just kind of going back to the historical context. The term time signifies a time in between, a moment of undetermined period of time in which something special happens. When I have the season of time is at hand, that's what I'm referring to. A moment of undetermined period of time in which something special happens. And then going on, let me see real quick. When it says the season of time is at hand, that at hand is derived from the verb egas, meaning to squeeze or throttle. It's an idiom and conveys the idea of graspable, sizable, there or almost there for the taking. So it's like almost in your, either in your grasp or almost in your grasp. And then I have a note saying see also Romans 13:11 through 12 as a possible relation. Going on. One eye. Let's see what I've got. Just a moment. Oh, the 7 assemblies. My note on that says, the 7 assemblies were located about 50 miles apart, forming roughly a crescent or triangle-shaped circuit in Asia, moving clockwise north from Ephesus and coming around full circle from Laodicea. 1J, let me get to this note. Asia, my note on Asia says that it's a Roman province lying in modern western Turkey. And when it says providing protection, I have healing, help, being lifted up, finding refuge, strength, and salvation, literally rescue, beauty, value, and preciousness. And let me go real quick. That refuge and that was the refuge and rescue. And when it says wholeness, that would be shalom, and means being in a state of wholeness or with no deficiency, lacking nothing. And that amen is from a root meaning to be firm or solid in the sense of permanency, to be sure, true, or faithful, illustrating something is said that is of absolute certainty. Going on. Oh, I think it's the note that I have next. I believe it's for Patmos. Let me just look and make sure. Yep, Patmos. Patmos, it says a small rocky island. It's only 4 by 8 miles size. A small rocky island in the Aegean Sea, some 50 miles southwest of Ephesus, off the coast of modern Turkey. Eusebius reports that Yochanan was released from Patmos under the Emperor Nerva, from CE 96 to 98. I'm guessing he was probably kind of old. Going on. 1Z, 1Z, 1Z. When he says write on a scroll, that scroll was pieces of parchment or papyrus sewn together and rolled on a spindle. And let's see. When it says, I saw 7 golden lampstands, to me it sounds an awful lot like a menorah, or possibly 7 menorahs. And I have a note saying, see also Zechariah 4 verse 2 and verse 10. So if you want to check those out. Then for all of the descriptions of how Yehoshua appeared to him, I have lots of verse references, and maybe I'll include those in annotations, because I have quite a few of them. So then, going on to chapter 2, the notes I have for chapter 2, I have just a few notes for chapter 2. 2a. When it says, I know your works and accomplishments, and your wearying, troubling labor. The term used there means to grow weary or tire or exhausted with toil or burdens or grief, to labor with wearisome effort, from a Greek root kopos, meaning a beating of the breast with grief, sorrow, labor, or trouble, intense labor united with trouble and toil. So, a little bit excruciating. And 2b, when it says, but I have this against you, you have departed from your first love. That departed from is a term that can be used in divorce. So, and when he says you've departed from your first love, that love is agapeo, and meaning to value or esteem because of a perceived intrinsic worth. And when he says the Nicolaites, means people conquerors, hierarchy, and has to do with hierarchy and dominion. Literally means conquerors of the non-leadership believers. Another note, the Nicolaites were reportedly a religion which intermingled teachings taught by Yahweh, and subsequently Yehoshua, with Gnostic teachings, which combined beliefs of man-made religions and pagan practices and beliefs. And some examples are they would share wives, and they would eat food offered to idols. Ancient witnesses state that the followers of the religion claimed that it was started by Deacon Nicholas, and that they lead lives of unrestrained indulgence. That's a quote from Irenaeus, presumably based on the belief that nothing done with the body affects salvation. So, it was a religion that would combine teachings of Yahweh with Gnostic, man-made religions and pagan practices and beliefs. So that's kind of, and they had to do with hierarchy and dominion, and literally means conquerors of the non-leadership believers. Interesting. That is as far as I have gotten in the book of Revealing, but I think there's a lot that's very interesting there. Anyways, I hope that you have gotten something out of this. Feel free to comment. Let me know if there's anything you disagree with, where you think I'm in error. If you do, if you could give me references that I can check and learn from this, that would be great. And maybe even share with other people. But I welcome feedback. Anything you want to offer, that would be great. I hope this has been helpful. Yahweh bless you and have a very good life. Thank you very much. Have a good night, day, morning, evening, whenever you watch this. Shalom. Thanks. Bye.